Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has unveiled a landmark proposal that promises to revolutionise childcare accessibility for Australian families. In a major election pitch, Labor has pledged to provide families earning up to $530,000 annually with at least 3 days of subsidised childcare each week. This announcement is part of a broader effort to ensure affordable early education for all Australian children and is expected to cost the government $427 million over the next 5 years. Under the current system, families can only access subsidised childcare if they meet certain activity requirements, such as working, volunteering, studying, or job hunting. The activity test has long been criticised for limiting access to childcare for many families who need it most. For example, families with low incomes and non-working parents often miss out on subsidies, hindering their children's development. Albanese's new proposal removes the activity test entirely, ensuring that every family with children under 5 can access at least 3 days of subsidised care per week. To complement this policy, Labor is also establishing a $1 billion Building Early Education Fund to construct and expand more than 160 childcare centres across the country. These centres will focus on locations with the greatest need and will, where possible, be co-located with schools to create more accessible childcare services for families. The proposal is seen as a significant step toward a universal childcare system in Australia, akin to Medicare, compulsory superannuation, and the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Labor hopes this reform will help Australian children start their educational journey on equal footing, regardless of their parents' work status. Critics, however, have raised concerns about the policy's potential to subsidise wealthier families who do not need financial assistance for childcare. Nationals Senator Matt Canavan has expressed opposition, arguing that the policy unfairly benefits affluent families. Despite these objections, Albanese has emphasised that the policy is aimed at ensuring every child, especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds, gets the education they need to succeed in school. In a significant development regarding Australia's immigration detention system, the federal government has announced a $2.3 billion deal with Secure Journeys, a subsidiary of the controversial U.S. Prison Operator Management and Training Corporation, MTC, to run the nation's onshore immigration detention network. The deal, which will begin in early 2025, marks the end of Serco's 15-year involvement in managing immigration detention facilities in Australia. MTC has a long track record of operating correctional facilities in the United States, the UK, and Egypt. Despite some serious allegations of misconduct, including a recent fraud case in Texas, MTC has won the contract to take over from Serco, which had been under scrutiny for issues such as understaffing and violence within detention centres. The Australian government's decision to award the contract to MTC has sparked significant debate, given the company's controversial past. The deal is expected to last for 5 years, with MTC providing a range of services at detention facilities across Australia. This new arrangement comes as part of the government's ongoing efforts to address immigration issues and improve the operation of detention centres, although critics argue that privatising detention services only serves to deepen the systemic problems. Serco, which had operated these centres for over a decade, is facing a financial hit as a result of losing the contract. The company had previously reported that it expected to generate significant revenue from continuing the operation of Australian detention facilities. However, despite these challenges, Serco is focused on ensuring a smooth transition to the new provider. In Queensland, the state government is debating a new youth justice law that aims to impose harsher penalties on young offenders. The bill, which includes the controversial adult crime, adult time policy, has sparked considerable debate in the state parliament. The policy proposes that young offenders who commit serious crimes, such as murder, manslaughter, and grievous bodily harm, be sentenced as adults, removing the principle of detention as a last resort. Attorney General Deb Frecklington has defended the bill, calling it a fresh start for Queensland's justice system and emphasising that it implements key election promises. According to Frecklington, the proposed changes aim to hold young offenders accountable for their actions, ensuring that the rights of victims are prioritised. The bill also seeks to enable courts to consider an offender's full criminal history when sentencing, a shift that could lead to tougher penalties for repeat offenders. However, the opposition Labor Party has called for amendments to the bill. Shadow Attorney General Megan Scanlon argued that while Labor would not block the legislation, it sought to ensure that the law is reviewed 18 months after implementation to assess its effectiveness. Labor also proposed that the bill should include a methodology for recording and reporting victim data in Queensland, with quarterly reports to be tabled in the state parliament. The debate surrounding the youth justice bill highlights the ongoing tension between those who advocate for tougher penalties and those who believe in rehabilitation and prevention. Critics of the bill argue that it may disproportionately affect vulnerable young people, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds, and could lead to harsher outcomes without addressing the root causes of youth crime. Thank you for tuning into Aussie Pulse. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll keep you updated on all the latest news. Until next time.